Alright lads, just to announce this morning we have some pretty exciting news in regards to one of our bigger updates potentially of the entire year. An advanced announcement, the new function attribute trees. A quick TLDW is that it's going to be a soul tree for every character in any given attribute. It's going to be a new way to power up your characters and give them ultimately more stats, while at the same time potentially giving them maybe some extra abilities or enhancing some of their abilities. We still don't know everything this feature will offer, and despite them giving us a whole post day, there's still a lot to know. And truth be told, some of that information we might not know until the final day before this update does come out, or we'll find out on the day when it does release. For those that are wondering though, the update is planned to release mid-November, so this is literally going to be here in like less than a week's time. Within a week. Next week. Either way, it's coming very, very soon. So with that said, let's actually talk about it and what we know about it and what we can potentially decipher from what they do give us here. And this image in particular is telling us that to get to this screen, it will be on our homepage on the left side. This, I believe, is where the edit button used to be. Obviously, they now changed the UI earlier this year. And this spot always felt empty, that there was nothing there. Now there's something to fill that void. It's the attribute tree. Now, what I do say here is that by powering up attribute trees, you can strengthen all characters of an attribute, right? So you aren't just powering up one character here, you are powering all your characters up. Attribute power-ups can be formed by accessing the attribute trees from the home screen, and then if we scroll down here, what exactly is the attribute trees? To power up characters by attribute, you'll need to use crests to level up nodes on an attribute tree of the attribute you wish to power up. By leveling up a node, you can improve their stats and other aspects of the character that belong to the same attribute as the tree where the node was unlocked. The number of crests required to unlock a node or power up a node will of course depend from node to node, and each node has a level, and once it is fully leveled up, the next node would then be unlocked. The crest, the item that we need to power up these nodes, will be obtained through quests and also campaigns. And we don't really know what entirely does that mean. What quests will have these items available? Is there going to be a new quest? Is it going to be in limited time quests, like maybe guild quest rewards, epic raids, limit breaker, point event rewards? We really don't know. And the items that we do need, we actually can see in this image. Let me know in the comments below if you know where this potentially is referencing. I mean, not all the time, but a lot of the times we do get items in the game, it does reference a certain piece of something. It referenced something in the Bleach universe, right? These, I'm not really too sure. They remind me of the resurrection rings, which have been since discontinued, but they look cool at the very least. So let's actually talk about the actual power up screen itself. This seems to be the final version of this screen, and it's cool to take note of these things because remember, this update feature was announced over like what, 4 months ago, and since then we've been getting updates, images giving us an insight on what it is going to look like, and now it looks completely different, right? This was our very first image that we did get, and we can kind of see the changes they have made. So first up, the starting of the soul tree attribute tree is completely different, but this one does tell us that there are going to be skills here, but it's hard to make out what these icons do mean. This one in particular though is an icon that does exist in game, and this icon is to increase the amount of levels your characters can get, and that's important because we'll talk about that in a minute. Then we got this one, I believe about 2 months ago, so this is the more recent one, but they've obviously now since changed this because a lot of the big skills here, maybe some of the better nodes, are right from the get-go. I would like to assume they just put this in at the start, just to show us it, because I assume these icons, these nodes, are going to still be in our new update that we do get potentially next week, but more so near the end of it, right? Because it makes no sense that you're going to get all the good stuff right from the get-go. But what we can infer from this image alone is that there is going to be some type of buff to link shot percentage, maybe. You know, right now, a link shot character at level 20, you can inherit 30% of their stats. Maybe it's going to go higher, upwards to 40, 50%. The middle one has something to do with transcendence points. That's the icon at the very least. Maybe it's going to increase the amount of transcendence levels you can get. That would be kind of crazy. And in the bottom one here, I mean, we have the same icon, right? That's a level up icon, but then there's also like a boost icon and then a character getting pointed up. I mean, we really don't know what this really means, to be fair, but there potentially looks to be a lot of different things that you can expect from this update. And with that, we also see that it's getting longer and longer. Originally, there was only one page, but there was quite a big scroll. After this update, our next update image, the scroll wheel is still there, and there's also 2 pages. Now what we have here is the same scroll wheel. All the big skills that you could potentially get through this system, big increases, have potentially been moved to the back. So at the start, we're only going to be getting stat upgrades, but there's now 3 pages. So this is definitely going to be a attribute soul tree that you're going to be working on for quite some time. I definitely don't think you're going to be able to max out in one day, even if you could infinitely farm these items, which to be fair, I doubt. It's going to be a long time to power this up because you have to literally scroll to get through this soul tree. And there's going to be 3 pages, and that's only one attribute, right? There's 5 different attributes that you have to work on. So you really have to pick and choose here. But we can see here this icon in the middle is to block you, and I'm very curious to see what the requirements are to unblock that. I would like if it's a requirement, a challenge or something that you have to do, and not so much as use the crest items. The only item that it looks like we are getting through this system is the crest. So I would like for these lock ones to be a bit more unique, a bit of a challenge. Maybe do something, and then you unlock it. That would be kind of fun. Give us something to do other than, just farming items for this particular soul tree. With that in mind, though, when it comes to the actual nodes themselves, we can see each one is offering a different level. Some will only offer 1 level, some will offer 3. And in some cases, like the stamina one right from the get-go, it is going to offer 5. I'm also very curious to know if every attribute is going to have the exact same tree, or are they going to be a tad bit different? Maybe technique, if for example, is starting off with level 5 stamina, because it's technique. Maybe a heart will start off with spiritual pressure. I mean, that would be kind of unbalanced a tad bit. It probably is fair and best just to make it so it's all the same for all 5 attributes, right? So you can memorize and know exactly what you're going to get into when you finish one and move into the next one. But if we actually scroll up, right, what we do see here, which is very, very interesting. It's maybe hard to make out. Maybe you missed it, but we can see that they're actually gaining levels. They are gaining levels for powering up these nodes. In the original 2 developer images that we did get, it looks like there was a node dedicated to levels. There's a very possible chance they removed that node and now make it so every node that you level up just naturally gives you levels. But this is kind of game-changing because after what, 6+ years, we are now finally getting higher levels than level 200. What is the cap going to be? Honestly, no idea. Now, one thing to take note with this is that when you do get these extra levels, it seems to level you up automatically. So it doesn't seem like it's raising your level cap. It's more so just giving you those extra stats, but also increasing the number of your level. So this probably doesn't mean that you can get orbs for maxing out your character again. This also likely means that it won't conflict with the resurrection system, right? You won't have to get your resurrectable character to level 400 just to resurrect them, right? And I would assume maybe the way they are going to balance this or sort it out is for you to get these bonuses, you have to be at max level. So once you get that green icon, boom, you get all these extra stats. But this one in particular, I'm not sure what one they are leveling up, but they did get it to level 3. And with that, they did actually get 30 stamina. So it seems like maybe each node here is actually going to offer 10 of that particular stat. And to be fair, that would kind of make sense. The first stat that we do see here is a stamina stat. There's 5 levels. So with that in mind, they got 50 extra stamina. The attack stat is 3 levels, so 10 attack stat per level, 30 attack stat. And the crazy part is that it maybe looks like it's 1 level per upgrade here. So if we scroll down here, let's actually count these, right? Just from this page alone, we're gaining 28 levels. There's a very good chance here we are going to see levels in the 300s, maybe even 400s. But obviously the stats they are gaining, it's not like traditional leveling, right? Like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure all the characters here are instantly getting that increase. And that means you won't have to use any extra, crystals, right? You just naturally get it. But what is potentially interesting here, which is kind of like maybe the more game-breaking part with this update, is remember, every character is getting this, right? So not only is your main character getting better, all your links are getting better. And it seems to go into the base stat. We had a very similar system, I believe, released last year, right? The affiliation bonus. But the affiliation bonuses in particular, maybe as to not make it super OP, is that it's an extra stat increase. It doesn't go into your base stats. So what that does mean is that when I am using a character to power up this Mugetsu through, link shot bonuses, through that link, I'm not getting that extra 200 SP, that extra 200 attack, the extra 400 stamina. And that also means any accessories that I am using, it's not counting that extra, green stat on the right because it's a bonus stat. But at least judging from this image alone, it does appear that it is going into your base stats, so that is going to affect your accessories that you put on your character. Now you're getting more stats. Any characters that you use as a link are now offering more stats. So this is going to be quite the huge damage increase, survivability increase, defense increase. It's going to be quite the game-changing update, something that we've maybe never seen before since 6 stars first got added, since link slot levels got first added. Obviously, that might change when we actually get the update and we get the full information about it. But right now, this is looking to be quite a big update in terms of just gaining new stats. And that's not even talking about any potential skill upgrades that we would get, because again, we can't see them in this particular image. But we do know, based on the past images, the developer ones, which again, it's a developer image, they can change. All these skill icons that we are seeing here very well might not even be in the final product. But given that this image was given to us like a month ago, likely we are going to see them just later on. And what are these going to give? I mean, just from the idea that we're getting extra stats into our base, it already seems like a W update. Any extra skill percentage or link swap bonus that we can get is going to get even crazier. It's going to get even crazier. And I think maybe the best part is that it does seem to be a long-term goal. This isn't something that we should be able to max out in a week. Even if there was a quest designed for us to farm it, which again, I wouldn't mind. I'm kind of like indifferent 50-50 on it. I would like a new co-op quest where we can farm all these items so I can play the game for like 4 hours in one sitting and stream it and have fun with you lads in co-op. I would love that. But at the same time, not everyone wants to sit there and farm co-op for 4 hours, right? A lot of people just want to log in, spend their stamina in single player events, and then log off and be done. Play it casually. And if the items to level up these nodes, the crests that we are going to get, if they're just from campaigns where all you have to do is spend a couple stamina, maybe in a point event, epic raids, they're limited, we can't farm them. That also isn't a bad thing. So I don't mind either way. If they want to make it farmable, if they want to make it limited, I'm kind of down for it. I don't mind the casual life. I don't mind the hardcore grind life. Both will honestly satisfy me. But yeah, overall, this update is coming out. Should be within the next week, mid-November. We're on the 11th. That should be like within the week, like maybe 17th or something. If anything, though, keep an eye out on the news. We will get a maintenance update post telling us when the update is going to be. I would expect within the week. And that update in particular is going to be giving us this. Looks to be, as of right now, quite the game-changing update. I'm excited for it. Hopefully, lads are too. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And I'll see you lads next time. Take care and peace.